Hey everyone, welcome back to this lesson. So in this one, we're going to talk about subscripting, which is a very important function and very useful thing in Python to really help you get more data out of whatever you're working with. So the idea with this is, in the previous video, if you remember, we talked about length function. Essentially, we would use a length function to see how many words or characters, is a certain string, right? So that would be, we use the length function and then we put the, let's say, whatever we have, either it's a string or a variable, right? So if I do that, it's going to give me a number, right? So again, that's the idea with this, right? Well, obviously we got to print it. So let's just, for example, say name equals this and then print name. Here we go. So that should actually give us a result. There you go. So like we get the characters with the length, right? So what if we need to refer to a specific type or specific letter of that string? And this is where the subscripting comes in. Now, remember guys, what we're learning in this section is essentially working with data types and strings, right? So we talked about length. Now we want to see how we can refer to a string. For example, again, let's say we get the name Sean, right? Let's say we have an input. Let's turn this into an input. So I'm just going to say input, for example, what is your name? Okay. So now let's say in our program, we want to refer to someone's name, someone's like second character of their name, for example. Or, let's say in a more advanced case, let's say we want to make sure that their first name is like, in uppercase, and if not, we can turn it to an uppercase or something like that. Again, can be very useful, can have a lot of useful cases. But let's say I want to see, okay, what is the first letter of that word, okay, that they enter, the name they enter. So how do we check that? So there's a way that you can actually do this called subscripting, and you can essentially refer to a certain string and look at the data in it. And the subscripting is pretty simple. It starts with something like this. So let's actually say name, and let's say print this. Okay, so we're gonna print the name. All right. So if I print this right now, it's going to just get my name and print my name. Pretty simple. So the way you can actually subscript something is to add a bracket, open close bracket, and add a number. So the way this works is that the numbers start from 0. That's another important thing you want to understand. The subscripting numbers, they start from 0, and that's because everything in programming starts from 0 because it's binary 0, 1, 2, like 0, 1, but everything starts from 0, not 1. So the way I can refer to, let's say, my name, right? The way I can refer to the first letter of my name is that I would be making it 0. So if I do this, if I just put my name Sean, it's just gonna print S. See guys? So that is subscripting. Now if I want to refer to the second letter, it would be E, I would turn this to 1. And if I run this and just say Sean, it's gonna put E. See guys? So this is what we call subscripting. It's a pretty simple concept, and you essentially refer to a certain part of the word or something like that, a string essentially. So I just want you to understand this alongside the length function. These are two stuff that you see all the time when you look up at a code. You see all these the brackets essentially with numbers in them, they're just referring to certain portions of something. So I just want you to remember that. So this is what we call subscripting, a very useful concept, and make sure you practice it. So another way that you can practice this in many ways really. So for example, let's say if you want to just do a full print, for example, we can actually print, let's say, hello world, right? And you can actually subscript it like this. So that would be 0, for example. It would just print the hello world or the edge of it. See guys, so we refer to the character H right here, and we just said H. See, so we just refer to the first one, or say second one. Let's say I want to do the L. That would be 0, 1, 2, right? So I would put 2 in here, and just like that, we're going to refer to the L. Very simple stuff. Again, nothing complicated here, but I just want you to understand when you see something like this, that's subscripting, essentially referring to a portion of something in the Python. So let me know if you have any questions, because moving forward, we're going to get into, data types. That's my favorite stuff, because we're going to really get to put this stuff to use. So I want you to understand this. So make sure you practice this, play with this a little bit, play with subscripting, length function as well. With length function, you might actually get some errors, especially if you try to mix it up with whatever we learned in the previous section. For example, actually, let's go to the length function stuff, and let's go back here while we're at it. So let's say we got a name. Let's say we call this, we give it a variable. We call this input, and we want to get someone's name. Okay, name. Or what is your name? And I'm going to, for example, my goal with this is to tell them how many characters their name is, right? So that would be like, if I want to get the characters, I would use the length function. So I'm just going to call this variable character equals length of the name, right? So then I would say print, and your name has plus char plus characters. So if I actually try to print this, guess what's going to happen? If I run it, I'm going to enter my name, but there you go, we just got an error. Why is that? It is because we actually have an integer. Because when we get the character numbers, like length function, we use the length function to get the number of character of a certain variable, it is actually integer. So what is integer? So in the next videos, we're going to go over data types, and I'm going to explain how we can actually fix this and how we can actually make sure that this actually does work. So I'll see you in the next videos, guys, where we talk about data types and characters and stuff like that.